Hey everybody, how's it going? Matt here, coming at you with another indicator video. And this time we're going to be talking about the Maverick Divergences Pro. And this is a super cool indicator, one that I find extremely helpful. And but I'm going to try not to spend too much time talking about this one because it is very simple and easy to use. Having said that, don't mistake its simplicity for not being a powerful indicator, as it certainly is. And so divergence, I'm kind of assuming you know what that is. I've made mention to it in previous indicator videos. If you've checked out our RSI indicator or our MACD indicator, you know that both of those indicators include divergence within that indicator itself. But I still wanted to build one indicator that focused solely on divergence. It is such an important concept in trading, and it's something that I think really any trader should be looking for in the market. And traditionally, the way that you would do that is you would have two indicators on or you would have one indicator on your chart and you'd have to look for divergence. And then if you wanted to find divergence with another indicator, you'd have to add another indicator to your chart. And you'd have, by the time you're done, maybe 5 indicators on your chart and you're trying to find divergence across all of them. And that's a very cumbersome sort of sometimes complicated thing to do. And especially when you're just sort of eyeballing it, a lot of times, even for me, and I've been looking for divergence for a while now in the markets, and it can be hard. It's easy to miss divergence, believe it or not. Even for the trained eye, it can be hard to catch all of them. So what this indicator does is it allows us to find divergence across all of these different indicators and all at once if we wanted to. So it's a really powerful sort of indicator there. And I'm going to add them all to my chart, and we can see we have a bunch of divergence, showing here. And I'm going to talk just briefly about what divergence is. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to use RSI as an example here, and just kind of show you. I'm going to add the default RSI indicator. So this is the one that is built into TradingView. Nothing special about this. And what the RSI indicator is, well, I'm not going to go into exactly that, but it goes from 0 to 100. And I'm going to try to find a good example of divergence here. This one's not bad. So here we can see pretty obviously that price is making a lower low, while the RSI indicator is actually increasing just slightly, ever so slightly there. And that is divergence. So fairly simple, right? I mean, it's when these two things, the price and the indicator, diverge. They go against each other. So if we wanted to draw, an arrow, price going this way, indicator going this way. Oops, I can't really. There we go. So that's how divergence works. And there's also something called hidden divergence, and that is let me show you that. So I'm going to make a separate video explaining what the difference between hidden and regular divergence is. It's a little bit confusing even for me sometimes when I'm thinking about it. But it's another thing to be aware of for sure when it comes to this indicator. And if you have hidden divergence and regular divergence up on the chart at the same time, you're probably going to want to draw hidden or draw divergence labels so you know the difference, and then it'll tell you which one is regular and which one is hidden, and it's as simple as that. So I would definitely, if you're going to check this box, make sure you got this box checked too. Just FYI there. And then all of these settings you can customize. These are all just the default sort of stock settings when it comes to each indicator, but you can certainly customize each indicator as you choose. And then obviously there's some styling options here. And then, here's another cool feature that I would be upset if I forgot to mention. So you can use a different time frame, and you just uncheck the box above and then select whatever time frame you want. So let's actually do that. I'm going to remove hidden divergence, and we only want RSI. Let's say I wanted to see RSI divergence on the daily chart, and then we're on the 4-hour right now, and I'm going to stay on the 4-hour, but I'm going to uncheck this box, and now I'm going to be seeing divergence on the daily, and we can see that our chart or my chart just changed here. So pretty cool feature to have there if you wanted to look at sort of two different perspectives at the same time. If you wanted to see RSI divergence on the daily, but be looking at the 4-hour chart in terms of the price action, that's a really nice feature to have. Again, I'm going to make a separate video going into the difference between hidden and regular divergence. There is one good video on YouTube. This guy, he's like an older gentleman wearing like it looks like I guess a train. What do you call that? People who drive a train hat. Why am I blanking on the name of what's the name of people who drive trains for a living? Um, Engineer or something. Anyway, if you just look up hidden divergence versus regular divergence on YouTube, you'll probably be able to find it. And he gives a pretty great example, or he gives a great analysis or explanation of the difference between hidden and regular. And then he even goes in to give you some examples that really make it make sense. But in any case, I'm probably going to make my own video, or I am going to make my own video on the difference anyway. And I'll link to that when that becomes available. But other than that, guys, this is a simple indicator. Easy to use, but nonetheless very powerful. So anyway, you got all these indicators here you can play around with and to find divergence in the market. So anyway, guys, hope everybody's doing well. And that's it for this video. I told you I was going to try to keep it short, and I think I did. But anyway, take care and happy trading.